Part 7 of the Prince Alfred's Pass covers the section from the 21st to the 28th kilometre and ends at the entrance to the Keurboom's River Game Trails office. If you intend driving this pass, it's important to watch all the videos sequentially to gain a complete perspective of what to expect. Although this 7-kilometre long section is fairly easy, there are nonetheless 35 bends, corners and curves, including one 170-degree hairpin bend which requires speed to be lowered to 20 kilometers per hour. It requires vigilant driving as there are several blind corners as well on this section. The exploitation of convict labour at the Cape during the colonial era is closely connected with the work of John Montague, Colonial Secretary for the Cape from 1843 to 1853. Montague began his career as a colonial administrator in 1834 when he was appointed Colonial Secretary to Van Diemen's Land, later known as Tasmania, which at that time was one of the largest penal colonies operated by the British. There he gained a reputation as a brutal administrator, and after a disagreement with the governor, Sir John Franklin, accepted the post of Colonial Secretary for the Cape, which he held from the 25th of April 1843 until just before his death in 1853. He was a staunch Anglican, and it's obvious that many of his policies towards convicts were firmly grounded in the Puritan belief that correction ought to be brought about through a mixture of Protestant work ethic. On the 18th of December 1843, Montague was ordered by Governor Napier to visit Robben Island for the purpose of inquiring into the working of the convict system at that penal station. As a result, he put forward a plan which would consolidate the various mental institutions and lazaretti of the colony upon the island and would remove the major part of its convicts to work camps on the mainland. Following the experience he'd gained in Tasmania, it was Montague's intention that no convict should be detained upon the island whose crime, conduct and character do not require a more severe degree of discipline and punishment than that which is observed at the convict road station. Consequently, he proposed to remove convicts from their places of incarceration, whose upkeep was a drain on the fiscus, and place them into work camps where they were expected to engage their labour for free on the road building and other maintenance projects of a public nature. From the outset of his arrival at the Cape, Montague had propounded that the establishment of an efficient road infrastructure for the colony would open up communication and trade with the interior, and was thus an important precondition to its economic development. To achieve this, he needed a source of cheap labour, and given the depleted state of the Cape Treasury at that time, convicts were seen as a logical solution to his problem. In 1844, Montague's plan was accepted, and the removal of the chronically sick, lepers, lunatics and paupers to Robben Island was completed by November 1845. In this work, Montague had the benefit of the support of two skilled road designers and land surveyors, Colonel Charles Mitchell and Andrew Geddes Bain. Mitchell was born in England in 1793 and commanded a brigade during the Napoleonic Wars, as well as fighting in the Battle of Waterloo. At the 26-kilometre mark, there's a fairly new concrete supporting wall on the left and a substantial under-road concrete culvert which was constructed in 2013 after a landslide destroyed a section of the road here. Immediately after the repaired section, the road enters a very sharp hairpin bend of 170 degrees, changing the heading from west-northwest to east-southeast. Back in 1828, Mitchell was appointed the colony's first Surveyor General, Civil Engineer and Superintendent of Public Works. He was a brilliant architect who's credited with the design of many important buildings in the Cape and played a leading role in the planning and construction of a number of its roads. He retired in 1848 when he returned to England on pension. Andrew Bain was an equally multi-talented personality. Initially he trained as a saddler, took part in numerous trading expeditions into the southern African interior, and wrote popular verse, and in 1836 was attached to the Royal Engineers. A natural if untrained engineer, he constructed a number of military roads and passes on the eastern frontier. There are another triple set of S-bends to negotiate, whereafter the entrance gates of the Keurboom's River Game Trails reception and office comes into view. Be sure to watch Part 8 of the Prince Alfred's Pass.